The trade station floated in space like a giant silver coin. Inside it, humans and aliens moved side by side. Some traded, some fought, some just passed by. But on the highest balcony, behind a glass wall, stood a girl who never joined them. She had pale blue skin and silver hair that moved like mist. Her eyes glowed faintly like stars caught in water. She was not just any alien. She was Relia, daughter of the Elnari ambassador. Her kind was royal, distant, and cold. They were not allowed to speak to humans, not even look at them too long. But Relia, she watched one human every single day. His name was Jace, a human mechanic. He worked alone in the lower bay, fixing broken droids and engines. His hands were always dirty, his clothes always torn, but his smile had warmth. He laughed with his tools. He sang while he worked. Sometimes he danced when he thought no one was watching. But Relia was watching. She would sit by the window of her private room, high above the engine deck, and follow him with her eyes. She didn't know why. His voice made her heart beat faster. His scars made her wonder what he had survived. His loneliness reminded her of her own. She wasn't supposed to feel anything. One evening, the station lights dimmed for night cycle. Most beings went to sleep. But Relia stayed at the window. Jace was still there, under a broken hover truck trying to fix something. The metal sparked. He cursed, but laughed too. Then it happened, a loud crash, a scream. The truck fell. Relia jumped from her seat. Below, Jace was trapped, his leg crushed under the metal. He tried to crawl out but fell back, gasping. There was no one around. The station was silent. No one heard him, except her. Her hands shook. She wasn't allowed to leave her room at night. Guards would report her. Her family would be shamed. But Relia ran. She ran barefoot through the polished halls, her silver robe fluttering behind her. She avoided cameras, slid past guards, and reached the lower decks. Her heart pounded like thunder. When she saw him, blood on his leg, face pale, she gasped. "Human," she whispered. His eyes opened slowly. He blinked. "An angel?" he murmured. She dropped to her knees. "No, I'm not supposed to be here." He smiled weakly. "You look like you're glowing." She put her hand on his forehead. Her skin shimmered. Elnari could heal, but only through contact, only with permission. "May I?" she asked softly. Jace nodded. A blue light pulsed from her fingers. His breathing eased. The bleeding stopped. The broken bones shifted. "It still hurts," he said. "I cannot fix pain," she whispered. "Only time can do that." He chuckled. "Then stay, for some time." She stayed, for 10 minutes, maybe 20, maybe an hour. She didn't know. She forgot about time. But when she stood to leave, Jace caught her hand. "What's your name?" he asked. She paused. No human had ever asked her that. "Relia," she said. He smiled again. "I'm Jace, thank you, Relia." Her hand slipped away, and she vanished back into the shadows. The next morning, Jace woke in the medbay. The workers said someone found him unconscious, but healed. They thought it was a miracle. Jace knew better. He limped back to his workshop and placed a small note outside. "To the one who saved me, thank you, please come again." Far above, in her glass room, Relia saw the note. She pressed her hand to the window. Her fingers trembled, her chest burned. Something inside her had changed, and she didn't know how to stop it. Relia didn't sleep that night. She sat by the glass wall in her room, hugging her knees, her silver robe wrapped tightly around her. Her heart was still racing. Her skin still remembered the feel of the human's hand, warm, rough, and trembling. She had broken the law of her kind. Elnari nobles were forbidden to touch outsiders. Even healing a non-Elnari without permission from the elders could be punished. But Relia had not only touched a human, she had used her light to heal him. And worse, she had felt something. Not fear, not duty, Desire. The next morning, her mother came into the chamber. Ambassador Valthea was tall, cold, and wrapped in layers of dark silk. Her eyes scanned Relia's face. "You left your room last night." Relia froze. "I saw it in the energy. Traces." Her mother continued. "And your light. It was used." Relia kept her head low. Valthea walked closer. "Was it for a human?" Silence. Valthea's voice turned sharp. "You shamed our bloodline, touched a lesser species. You will not leave this chamber again." Then the door sealed with a code Relia couldn't break, but down below, Jace waited. He had taped another note outside his workshop. To the glowing girl, "I remember your name. Relia. Please come back." Every few hours he looked up at the high windows. No figure appeared, just silence and light. Still he waited. 2 days passed. Relia sat by her window. Her body was hot, not from fever, but from within. Her people called it the soul flame, a rare condition. It only appeared when the heart connected to another, and it was always fatal if ignored. Her fingers burned. Her chest ached. She could barely breathe when she thought of him, but no one would help her. Not her mother. Not the healers. They believed it was impossible. No noble Elnari could ever burn for a human, but she was burning. That night she made a decision. She pressed her palm to the sealed door. Her fingers glowed with inner light. Codes shifted. Locks clicked open. The barrier dissolved. Jace was working late again, this time on a broken station drone. His tools were slow. His limp was worse. Every movement made him wince. Then he felt a presence. He turned, and there she was, Relia, standing in the doorway like a dream, her hair glowing, her eyes wide, and something about her looked fragile. "Relia," he whispered. She walked forward, slowly. "I wasn't supposed to come," she said. "They locked me away. But you did anyway." "Yes," she breathed, "because I'm burning." He blinked. "Burning?" She reached out, took his hand, and pressed it to her chest. "My heart hurts when I'm away from you. I see you in my dreams. I hear your voice in the quiet. And my light. It calls for you." Jace didn't speak. He didn't know what to say. So, he just stepped closer and held her. For the first time, her trembling stopped. She closed her eyes, resting her head against him. Her glow grew brighter. "I healed you once," she whispered. "Now I need you to heal me." Jace nodded slowly. "I will." But outside the workshop, 2 shadows moved. Guards, watching and listening. The guards didn't report her. Not yet. They watched the glowing girl meet the human in silence. They whispered to the ambassador, who only replied, "Let her be foolish. It won't last." But the meetings didn't stop. They only became more secret. Each night after the last bell rang through the station halls, Relia escaped her chamber using her inner light. The locks no longer held her back. She moved like a shadow through the quiet corridors, her bare feet soft on cold metal floors. And Jace would be waiting, sometimes in the engine room, sometimes by the old ship graveyard, sometimes on the dark side of the station where no cameras worked anymore. Each place held a memory now, their laughter, their silence, their hearts growing louder. One night, Jace brought her a small object, a red flower, half real, half plastic, grown from earth seeds and station scrap. "It's called a rose," he said. Relia stared at it like it was fire. "It's warm." "It's fake," Jace laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. "But I made it. For you." She held it close to her chest, her eyes shining. "Then it's not fake." That night, she kissed his cheek. Just a touch, but for her kind, it was equal to a vow. The next time they met, Jace brought a small music device. He played soft tunes from old Earth archives, melodies full of longing. Relia listened with her head on his shoulder. Her breathing slowed. Her pulse matched his. "My people don't dance," she said. "Then you've been missing something important." Jace smiled. He stood and held out a hand. "I don't know how," she said. He gently guided her fingers. "I'll show you." They danced slowly in the dark, among broken tools and dim lights. No steps, no rhythm, just closeness. And for a few minutes the galaxy disappeared. It was just them, a human and a glowing alien girl with a soul that now beat for him. But love does not grow in secret forever. One evening, as Relia leaned against Jace and whispered stories of her home planet's glass forests, a sudden voice echoed behind them. "You were warned." Jace jumped up. Relia froze. The voice belonged to Sarlon, a tall, armored guard of the Elnari royal line. Behind him stood two more. Their weapons hummed with energy. "You've crossed the final line, noble daughter," Sarlon said coldly. "Don't touch her," Jace growled, stepping in front of Relia. But she moved forward on her own. "I chose this," she said, lifting her chin. "I choose him." Sarlon's expression didn't change. "Then you've chosen punishment." They didn't hurt her, they didn't touch Jace. They simply raised their arms and light swallowed them both. In seconds, Relia was gone. Jace fell to the ground, stunned, alone again. But the rose remained, glowing slightly with her energy. In the high tower once more, Relia sat inside a new chamber. No windows, no light, just silence. Her mother appeared outside the energy wall. "Your body burns, doesn't it?" she said. Relia nodded slowly. "Then you will let it burn, until you forget him." But Relia only closed her eyes and whispered his name. Jace. And down below, in his tiny broken room, Jace stared at the glowing rose on his table and whispered hers. Relia. The room was made of crystal walls, beautiful from outside. But Relia knew. It was a prison. No door, no windows, no shadows to hide in, only light. Cold, perfect light. The Elnari believed light purifies feelings, but it did nothing for the pain. Burning inside her, Relia lay on the floor, her body trembling. Her glowing skin flickered like a dying star. Her breathing came in sharp, broken gasps. Her heart was too loud, her blood too hot. This wasn't sickness, this was the soul flame. Her kind called it a curse of the heart, when the body bonds to a mate but the mind is forbidden. If denied, the light inside collapses. The body shuts down, the soul fades. No cure, only one way to stop it. Complete the bond. And her bond was with a human. Her mother entered, floating like ice through the air. Her silver dress made no sound. "You brought this on yourself," Ambassador Valthia said softly. "A royal Elnari bonding with a filthy mechanic? What shame." "I didn't choose it," Relia whispered. "It happened." Valthia's voice turned hard. "We don't feel, we decide. You will stay here until it burns out of you." Relia turned away, but her skin continued to glow, hotter and brighter. Down below, in the lower decks of the station, Jace had stopped working. He stared at the rose on his table. It no longer glowed. Just like her, he thought. He hadn't seen her in 3 days. No messages, no signals, nothing. He had been erased from her world, but he couldn't erase her from his. He walked to the high tower, past guard posts, past warning signs. He reached the crystal wall that separated her people from his, and he shouted her name. "Relia." No one answered, but above, in her glowing room, her eyes opened. She heard him. Her light flared. Inside the station council chamber, the elders spoke softly. They had seen the light readings. They knew what was happening to the ambassador's daughter. "If the flame isn't sealed," said one old Elnari, "she will die. And worse," said another. "Our people will see it. They will know." The bond was real. Silence fell. Then Ambassador Valthia spoke. "Then let them see," she hissed, "and let them fear it. My daughter will die with honor, without the human." Back in the glowing room, Relia stood slowly, shaking. She pressed her hands to the walls. She didn't want to die. Not like this. Not with his name in her mouth and no chance to say goodbye. She focused her light. Her fingers blazed, Her arms shook, and with a scream she shattered a piece of the crystal, just enough to slip through. Alarms exploded. Guards rushed, but she ran faster. Her bare feet bled on the station floor. Her skin smoked with light. The soul flame was rising too fast now. She had minutes, maybe less. She didn't care. She needed him. Jace was about to leave the tower hall when he heard footsteps. No, not footsteps. Energy. He turned and saw her, running, glowing, like fire eyes locked on him, and before he could move, she slammed into his chest, arms around him, her body burning like a star. And then, silence. He caught her as she collapsed in his arms. Her body was too hot to touch, but he didn't let go. Her lips were close. Say it, she whispered. Say what? Jace asked, eyes full of fear. Relia's eyes begged him. The word, the human word. When you choose someone, Jace choked, then said it. I love you. Her light exploded. Not in pain, but in peace. From the shadows the elders watched. The girl's light stabilized. The soul flame cooled, and the impossible happened. A human's voice saved an Elnari noble. The old laws cracked that day, but not as much as the two hearts that had found each other. The station was silent after the explosion of light, but inside Jace's heart, everything was loud. Relia lay in his arms, still glowing, but faint. Her skin felt cooler now. Her breathing was slow, but steady. She had burned for him. She had escaped for him. And now, they were surrounded. Guards moved in, surrounding them like a dark wall. They didn't attack, but their weapons pulsed with warning. Jace looked up, holding Relia tightly. She needs rest, he said. One of the guards replied coldly. She needs separation, but Relia's eyes fluttered open. Her voice was soft but full of defiance. If you touch him, I will never forgive you. The guards hesitated. No one had ever heard a noble girl speak like that, especially not to defend a human. Later, they were brought before the Elnari High Chamber. No chairs, no comfort, just a round room with floating lights and 12 ancient judges. Jace stood beside Relia, still holding her hand. He had no legal right to be there, but he didn't care. And neither did she. Ambassador Valthia stepped forward. My daughter has bonded with a species below us. She disrespected our law, our name, and our future. One elder asked calmly, was the bond real? Valthia's jaw tightened. I will not answer. I will, Relia said. Her voice echoed like a bell. I didn't mean to choose him, but my body, my light, my soul, they already had. She looked at Jace. I burn when I'm apart, and I glow when he is near. Gasps filled the chamber. Even the oldest elders leaned forward. One judge, a withered Elnari with golden eyes, spoke directly to Jace. You, human. What do you feel for her? Jace took a deep breath. I didn't plan this either. But when she touched me, something changed. I wasn't just healed, I was seen. No one ever looked at me the way she did. He paused. And if your law says she must be punished, then punish me too. Because I'm not leaving her. The room fell into stillness. Then the golden-eyed elder stood. In ancient Elnari law, he said slowly, a bond that resists punishment is a bond that must be honored. Whispers spread like fire. Ambassador Valthia stepped forward, eyes wide. You can't. The elder raised a hand. She lived. He stayed. The flame calmed. The bond is complete. He turned to Relia. Daughter of light. Do you still choose the human? She didn't even blink. I do. The elder turned to Jace. Human, do you accept her as your bondmate? Jace smiled. Forever. Outside the chamber, crowds gathered as the news spread. A noble girl, a human mechanic, a completed soul flame, and a law that bent for love, but not everyone celebrated. Ambassador Valthea stood alone in the shadows, her pride shattered. She had lost her daughter to a human, but deep inside, even she could not deny the truth. The bond was real. That night, Jace sat beside Relia on the quiet edge of the observation deck. Stars stretched across the glass above them. She leaned her head on his shoulder. "I broke every rule," she whispered. "So did I," he said. She looked up at him, eyes glowing softly. "But somehow, I feel like we've only just begun." Jace kissed her forehead gently. "I think the real trouble," he smiled, "and starts now." And behind them, unknown to both, someone watched. Not a guard, not her mother, but a stranger, recording every moment. The news had spread faster than light. A noble Elnari girl had bonded with a human, a mechanic no less. Across the galaxy, alien. Networks debated the scandal. Some called it dangerous, others called it romantic. But among the Elnari high circle it was called something else. Unforgivable. Despite the ruling of the golden-eyed elder, a group of traditionalist leaders challenged the decision. They demanded a formal trial, an ancient public hearing where hearts, honor, and bloodlines were judged. The trial would be held in the Circle of Stars, a ceremonial dome open to all races on the station. It was meant to humiliate her. It was meant to make the human run. But they had underestimated both of them. Jace stood outside the dome wearing the only clean shirt he had. His hands trembled. He had faced burning engines, broken hulls, even space pirates once. But this was worse. He looked down at the glowing band around his wrist, a small Elnari gift Relia had made for him. It pulsed with her light. "I'm not leaving," he whispered to himself. Inside the dome, thousands watched, some on seats, some hovering. Cameras floated in the air, broadcasting live to other systems, and in the center stood Relia. Her silver dress flowed like liquid light. Her hair was tied back, revealing her glowing markings. But her face was calm, brave, unshaken. One elder barked, "You will explain, daughter of Valthea, why you defy the sacred law of pairing." Another added, "Do you claim your emotions matter more than your duty?" Relia stepped forward. "No," she said softly, "but I claim that duty without emotion is hollow. I claim that love is not weakness." Gasps echoed. Even her own mother sat in silence. The judges turned to Jace, who now stepped into the circle beside her. A younger alien counselor sneered. "What do you offer her, human? You are not royal, not wealthy, not powerful." Jace didn't flinch. "No, I'm not," he said. "But I would tear the stars from the sky to protect her." He looked at Relia. "She didn't fall in love with what I have. She fell in love with who I am. And I've already given her the only thing I've got, me." The crowd stirred, but one of the elders, older than all, stood slowly. She was blind. Her eyes were covered by silver cloth, but her voice was sharp. "I was once bonded," she said, "to someone my people hated. He died before they could accept him." She turned toward Relia. "Would you burn again, child? If we tear him from you?" Relia's voice didn't tremble. "I would burn. I would fall. I would break. But I would still choose him." The old judge smiled faintly. "Then the law must choose too." Silence fell. The elders gathered in a circle, speaking through light and thought. For long minutes the dome remained still. Then the golden-eyed elder returned, his voice boomed like thunder. "By old law, a bond of flame that survives exposure is to be sealed, not broken." He raised his hand. "By witness of all races, we recognize the bond between Relia of Elnari and Jace of Earth." Cheers erupted. Some screamed, others left in protest. But Relia, she turned, grabbed Jace's hand, and kissed him. Not a gentle touch this time, but a declaration, a promise. Outside, as they walked away through the stunned crowd, Jace whispered, "You just made a galaxy full of enemies." She smiled. "Good." "Why good?" Because now they'll have to watch what happens when love wins. The stars above. The station burned brighter than usual. Or maybe everything felt brighter now. After the trial, everything changed. But not all at once. Not with fireworks. Not with cheers. The galaxy didn't suddenly accept love between an alien noble and a human mechanic. But eyes had opened, and minds had begun to shift. Relia and Jace were allowed to stay together. Their bond was officially recorded in both human and Elnari law. It was the first time in history such a union was given royal blessing. Still, not everyone welcomed them. Some Elnari turned away when Relia passed. Some humans muttered insults behind Jace's back, but none dared to separate them again. Because every time they walked hand in hand, every time their light touched, something changed in the air. It was as if their love had its own gravity. One quiet morning, Jace returned to his small repair shop. The place was dusty, half broken, and smelled like oil. He expected to come back alone, but Relia followed him in. She looked around, wrinkled her nose at the mess, and smiled. "You built your world with your hands," she said. "It's nothing special." "To me," she whispered, "it is sacred." That day she rolled up her glowing sleeves and helped him repair a hover bike. Her soft fingers, glowing with energy, touched wires he couldn't even see. Together, they made it fly. Word spread, first to one Elnari youth, then a small group, then more. They wanted to visit the humans' workshop, not just to see machines, but to learn, to ask questions, to understand the man who changed their princess and how she changed too. Within weeks, the once-forgotten corner of the station became a meeting place. Alien students worked beside human welders. Elnari elders discussed energy with Earth engineers. And in the center of it all, Relia and Jace stood like two stars orbiting each other. Not leaders, not rulers, just proof. Proof that love could tear down walls no weapon ever could. One evening, as they watched ships rise into the stars, Relia placed her hand over Jace's heart. "Do you still wonder why I chose you?" He looked at her gently. "Every day." She smiled. "Because you never wanted to own me. You just wanted to hold me." Jace leaned forward, brushing his forehead against hers. "And you," he said, "are the only light I'll ever follow." Their bond sparked change. More mixed couples stepped forward. More humans and aliens, once afraid to speak, now walked openly together. Slowly, the galaxy began to soften. Not because of speeches, not because of politics, but because of two souls who refused to be torn apart. 1 year later, a child was born. Not human, not fully Elnari, but something new. Eyes like starlight, skin that glowed softly, and a laugh that made everyone stop and stare. They named her Lyra. She didn't speak yet, but when she looked at the stars, they seemed to listen. And in the future history books of both Earth and Elnari, the story was written simply. She chose the human, and her people followed.